It's a tale as old as the industry itself. A major publisher, often from the AAA scene, pumps loads of money into marketing their so-called next big hit, while seemingly forgetting to invest the same effort into making the actual game worthwhile. What follows is all too familiar. An overhyped title that disappoints both fans and investors, often after a chaotic development cycle. In this list, we're diving into 10 games that were hyped to the moon, but crash-landed hard, becoming some of the most memorable flops in gaming history. So, the 10th overhyped game that ultimately flopped is Daikatana. A strong reputation doesn't always guarantee a great game, something John Romero discovered with Daikatana. As the co-creator of Doom and Quake, Romero's promise of a revolutionary FPS had fans buzzing, backed by bold marketing and sky-high expectations. But after years of delays, the final product was a major letdown. With outdated graphics, poor AI, and repetitive gameplay, Daikatana failed to live up to the hype. Despite the legacy behind it, the game became a cautionary tale. No matter how big the name or bold the promise, execution is everything. And the 9th overhyped game is Aliens: Colonial Marines. Aliens: Colonial Marines is infamous as one of gaming's biggest disappointments, a textbook case of overhyped failure. The initial trailer promised a tense, atmospheric shooter where Marines faced off against xenomorphs in claustrophobic corridors. But the final release was a letdown, riddled with bugs, a dull story, and especially terrible AI. Aliens would get stuck on walls, and squad mates often did more harm than good. In the end, it became a symbol of wasted potential and broken promises. And the 8th game on our list is Mass Effect: Andromeda. After the original Mass Effect trilogy wrapped up, fans were eager for more, hoping Mass Effect Andromeda would deliver the same rich storytelling and grand sci-fi experience. But expectations quickly crumbled at launch. The shift to an open-world format felt unfinished, and technical issues, most famously the awkward facial animations, became the butt of online jokes. Lacking the compelling characters and emotional depth of its predecessors, Andromeda fell flat. The reception was so disappointing that BioWare scrapped all plans for future story DLCs, leaving the game as a shadow of what fans had hoped for. And the 7th overhyped game that ultimately flopped is Anthem. BioWare's first attempt at a live service game, Anthem, generated a mix of hope and doubt. Its stunning trailer, featuring a lush world and customizable flying exosuits, set the bar high. But the actual game fell short, plagued by technical issues, repetitive gameplay, and a weak endgame. Despite promises of future improvements through a detailed roadmap, interest quickly faded. Within 2 years, development was officially abandoned, marking Anthem as a major misstep for the studio. And the 6th overhyped game that ultimately flopped is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Calling Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League overhyped might be generous. It always had an uphill battle. Still, with Rocksteady at the helm, known for the acclaimed Batman Arkham series, there was reason for cautious optimism. Unfortunately, that hope quickly faded. The game stumbled out of the gate with poor reviews, minimal player engagement, and underwhelming gameplay. Even post-launch updates featuring major characters like the Joker couldn't breathe life into it. In the end, the game failed to turn a profit, and support was scheduled to end within a year, marking another blow to WB's live service ambitions. And the 5th game on our list is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is often cited as one of the most disastrous launches in gaming history. With promises that far exceeded what a small team could realistically deliver, and poor communication only making things worse, the game released in a state that fell massively short of expectations. Fans were let down, critics pounced, and it quickly became the go-to cautionary tale whenever a flashy trailer dropped. Remember No Man's Sky? But unlike many failed launches, this story had a turnaround. Once the team blocked out the noise and focused, they steadily released free updates that not only fulfilled their original promises, but went far beyond. Today, No Man's Sky stands as a stellar sci-fi experience, almost unrecognizable from its rocky beginnings. And on number 4, we have Marvel's Avengers. At a time when Marvel seemed unstoppable, Marvel's Avengers proved that even superhero power couldn't save a shaky live service game. Developed by Square Enix, the game launched with a decent story campaign, but that wasn't enough to keep players hooked. As with most live service titles, the real test was the end game, and that's where it fell apart. Repetitive missions, a dull loot system, and uninspired gameplay quickly led to burnout. With little incentive to return, the player base dwindled, and eventually the game was pulled from digital stores, a disappointing end to a promising concept. And the third overhyped game that ultimately flopped is Fallout 76. When fans dreamed of exploring the Fallout wasteland online, Fallout 76 was probably not what they had in mind. The concept sounded ambitious, a massive open world where players created their own stories without traditional quests or NPCs. But that bold design choice backfired. Without enough meaningful content or engaging player interaction, the world felt empty and lifeless. Combine that with bugs and unpopular live service mechanics, and it's no surprise the community quickly lost interest. However, over time, Bethesda managed to course correct with regular updates, most notably by reintroducing NPCs, which finally gave the game the personality it was sorely missing. And the second game on our list is Concord. Concord was overhyped, less by fan excitement and more by Sony's relentless push to make it feel like the next big thing. Banking heavily on its success, Sony had ambitious plans for a sprawling multimedia franchise, before the game was even ready to play. Unfortunately, they put the hype before the substance. Despite flashy marketing, the early trailers failed to grab attention, and that disinterest carried over to launch. Within days, the game's peak Steam player count couldn't even reach 700. Criticism poured in over its visuals and gameplay, and in a shocking move, the game was shut down just 2 weeks after release. And the last overhyped game that ultimately flopped on our list is Duke Nukem Forever. The 90s gave us countless gaming legends, and among FPS icons, Duke Nukem stood tall with his over-the-top attitude and alien-slaying bravado. So when a new installment was announced after years of silence, longtime fans were thrilled. But excitement turned to skepticism as Duke Nukem Forever languished in development hell for over a decade. By the time it finally launched, hopes were low, but many still believed it could recapture some of the old magic. Instead, what they got was a game frozen in time. Outdated visuals, clunky mechanics, and humor that felt stale in a world that had long moved on. Duke Nukem Forever was less a comeback and more a reminder that not every icon ages well. Which game do you think was the most overhyped but ultimately flopped? Let us know in the comments. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.